welcome back to the show, and let's get it on. No, that's not right. So the first thing we're going to speak about is Marvel news. We've gotten some information on the new Man and Wasp movie that's going to be coming out. So there are some behind the scene pictures which are looking very good. The biggest piece of news in this whole thing is that they've just cast Michelle Pfeiffer in the MCU. And when I think superhero genre and Michelle Pfeiffer, it just takes me back to my childhood.
Just the pussy I've been looking for.
So in the movie that's set to come out after Avengers 3 or Infinity War Part 1, we're going to have the Ant-Man and Wasp story, which is going to be quite interesting because I don't know where their role is going to fall in the bigger Infinity War story, and I'm really curious about it. She is going to be playing Hank Pym's wife, and if you recall from the first Ant-Man movie, she was the original Wasp who went into the quantum dimension. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a backstory that they try to tell, or whether they actually go on this rescue mission and they find her, and then that has something to do with the greater defeating Thanos story. But if there's any way we could get her into a cat outfit, just one more time. What is it? The next thing I want to speak to you guys about is esports. So League of Legends, the Riot Games, who's very deceiving because they actually only have one game, they're busy doing their World's Championship at the moment. And it got me reading up about the stats around esports. When these games started being streamed, there was an average of around 5 million or so views on certain events. And since then, it has actually grown at a scary rate. In 2016, the view count was around 43 million. To put that in perspective, that's double what the NBA finals were. Those numbers are huge. Which brings up a question of, when does esports start being taken seriously to the point that it gets added into bigger events like the Olympics? Well, it is. So there are currently talks with the IOC to incorporate esports into the 2024 Olympics in France. There's a lot of controversy around this because it doesn't follow the traditional athletic-based sports that they do. But if you think about it, they have sponsors, they get paid by their teams, they wear colours, they train consistently. In a professional sense, they nearly are like athletes. And not only that, from a business and marketing point of view of the Olympics, it makes a lot of sense for them to actually bring this in, to adopt it as a sport within the larger group. If you accept that everything evolves, being the sport itself and the consumption from the viewer, you got to bring it in. And I guess it's a much safer sport to get into. Instead of pulling hamstrings, you're going to get some carpal tunnel syndrome and maybe occasional gout. Gout is such a funny word. Speaking of funny words, the segue.
Hi everybody, it's Paul. You know, a lot of people ask me, after a long day of voiceover or writing or doing all those creative things that I do, how do I relax? I come home and I pet my dog. You see, petting the dog is one of the most relaxing things you can possibly do. It releases a hormone called oxytocin, which reduces stress. Also, it lowers your heart rate and it lowers your blood pressure. Plus, the dogs like it so much, and it's a nice bonding experience. Ow. Okay, we're done.
Well, that's the show, guys. I know it was a short one, but there's not much happening in the world. That's not true. I'm lying to you. I was lazy. But I wasn't lazy in the skit comedy stuff we did. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put it here. Right here. Give it a watch. Let me know what you think. Hope you dig it. It was a lot of fun to shoot this stuff. It's nice to get people involved, to actually be part of these things. And I would love to reach out to some other YouTubers to join me on these skits. And I think it could be a lot of fun. So, yeah. Catch you on the flip side, dog.